starting at number 5. Fifth most important player in these playoffs is Steph Curry. Steph Curry has yet to be an MVP of any finals he has ever played in, nor has he deserved any of them. If Steph can not only be Steph in the regular season, but be that guy in the playoffs, the Warriors have a chance to win the whole thing. Steph Curry's 5. At 4, Ja Morant. His team just went 21-2 without him down the stretch. You know what that means? They may be the best team in basketball. And I don't want to hear they're worse with Ja Morant. If Ja is on in these playoffs, if he can elevate, just stay himself in the normal moments for a team that just went 21-2, they can win the whole thing right now. At number 3, the scoring champ, Joel Embiid. Now, I understand James Harden's actually the important guy, but why? Because you take Embiid for granted that he's going to ball out? No, I'm not taking it for granted. These are the playoffs. Ball out. He's the best player on the team, even if Harden is right. He was the best player in the NBA this season. He played enough games to get the MVP. He needs to be the MVP of the playoffs now. Know who was the MVP of the playoffs last year? At number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis had a finals run for the ages, a 50-piece in the final game of the finals to close it out. A lot of people arguing he's the best player in the world because of that. If the Bucks want to repeat, this guy's got to do it again. And he might want to start a little sooner because, remember, he was outplayed by the best player in the world last year, and people are forgetting that's still Kevin Durant if he's healthy. The Brooklyn Nets have a puncher's chance to win the whole thing. He has to punch. Yes, Kyrie too. But he has to be the best player in the world. Let's not forget, last year's playoffs, while he was active, it was pretty obvious that dude was the best player in the world. If he can do that again, the Nets could pull off, at this point, what would be a pretty big upset. Your reaction, what did I do wrong?
I'll quickly go through this. Okay, you're 100% right about Curry. For all the reasons you said, that's why he's going to be higher on my list than 5. I'll get to that in a second. Ja Morant, I don't put him in this because here's why. No one expects them to win a title this year. There will be no sense of disappointment if the Memphis Grizzlies do not win a title. Their time will come.
Can they? Can they win a title?
They will get there. They don't have quite enough yet, okay? But they're going to get there. Joel Embiid, yes, but I do take him for granted. He should be on this list somewhere if it's a top 10. He's going to get 30 and 15 a night for however many games he plays in the postseason. Book it, penciled in right now.
So the more important guy's the guy you can't rely on.
Correct. And that's why this question is even subject to interpretation, right? I went with guys a little bit more variable, and that's why they become so important. Giannis, house money. He's already won one. He's got a couple MVPs. Yes, they expect to win with him, but he's already locked up long term. He's won a championship. There's not nearly as much pressure on him now. And the same reason for Kevin Durant. I take him for granted, and he's got 2 rings. So I don't think that's the same. So my list looks a little bit different.
I had to leave a bunch of guys off, yeah.
There's a lot of guys.
And you're going to have to now leave some guys off.
Oh, no question about it. All right, I'm going to start with number 5. I don't know if they're going to pop mine up here or not, but I'm going with Luka Doncic at number 5 for this reason. This team came within 1 game last night of being the 3 seed in the West. If you take Luka Doncic off the floor right now, who knows what's going on with his calf? That did not look good last night, the way he limped off the floor. You're talking about a team that's got no shot of winning maybe 1 game in a first-round series. You put Luka Doncic out there with the way they've played defense, Dallas now becomes a legitimate team that you've got to look, maybe taking one of those top seeds to a deep 7-game series in the second round. Number 4, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler.
Oh, legs.
Listen, he hasn't won a championship. Miami's a
he ain't gonna.
They're a number 1 seed, though. And for them to get to the finals and navigate these teams in the East, he's got to be great, not passive at times.
He is what he is.
He's got to be great.
He's a star. He's not a superstar.
Number 3 is Jason Tatum.
Oh, good one. I wanted to put him on.
Because
he's 6th.
of the reason we had in the earlier discussion, right? He has to be, and probably going to have to be, against Kevin Durant, better than Durant more often than Durant's better than him to win that series.
Tough to argue against
And
Tatum.
Boston's been the best defense for a couple of months. They think they can get all the way to the finals, maybe win it. Number 2, Steph Curry. All the reasons you said, he changes the entire dynamic. That entire list of teams that could potentially win it grows by 1 if Steph Curry looks like Steph Curry. They could win the whole thing if Steph Curry is right. And number 1 for me, and to me, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1 is on a different shelf entirely. James Harden, come on, man. If James Harden doesn't play great in the Toronto series, they're going home in the first round. And they were a 1 seed, and they leveraged everything. They sat out 2/3 of a year. We let Ben Simmons sit at home to get this guy, and he has had some moments in the past in the postseason that make us scratch our heads. Nobody has more pressure on him than James Harden.
Yours is a perfect list to another question. Most pressure in these playoffs.
Maybe that's
Tim
how I
Legler,
interpreted it.
Mint condition list.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.